Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Wretched Wrench. Please like and subscribe. We've got a fender that the clear coat's peeling off of. We're going to raise the hood up, get it out of the way so we don't sand on it. We're just going to leave our hood up, and you can see all this peeling. What we're going to do is we're going to start sanding it with 320, and we're going to feather all this out. When it's smooth, we're going to mask it off and prime it. It looks like this will work. Now we have two different kinds of blocks. These are automotive blocks. They're a bit flexible, so that helps. Since this is eat up all the way from the front to the back, we're going to try to use a long block to feather this out. You don't want to sand this by hand because it will never feather out. This will, when the clear coat's gone, will sand faster, and it just won't work. I'm going with 320 because it's the least aggressive. If you got a really bad situation, go down to 180. Work your way back up through 220, back up to 320. Do not sand on your headlight. If you need to tape it up, do it. Keep you from sanding on it. I'm sanding the clear coat. You can see how fast it goes away where the clear coat's not, so I'm trying to stay off of that. Just trying to sand the clear coat right now. I want to try to get it to quit breaking and start feathering. Okay, now that's a good beginning on feathering. That you can still see this edge. That's not feathered. That's not feathered. This is. That looks nice. You see how you can see a few different layers. That's a feather. And that's what you want to achieve. And just work our way down the fender with a block. And we're just going to continue, look for the bad spots, and feather them out. Don't do this by hand. It will not feather out correctly. And this car is silver. That will show up really bad. There we go. That's all I'm doing by hand. And then I'll work with the block again. Now, after you block it down, you go over it with your hand, once or twice, just to smooth it out. But all of this lip of this clear coat, all of the lip here has to be feathered out. It needs to look just like this. And you can see how there's no more lip. Well, there is right here, isn't there? Let's work on that. all this was peeling. It's now feathered out. You can see the difference. It's a hard edge. There's no more edge. And we're gonna put some primer over this. And then we're gonna block it again. So that's what it takes. All right, you guys relax and watch.
Sanding and I'm sanding, and I'm sanding, and I'm blocking and I'm sanding. Look at me sanding, sanding, sanding. I'm sanding and I'm blocking and I'm sanding and I'm sanding and I'm blocking the car. I'm trying to feather out the paint so far, so far, so far. Blocking and sanding, sanding and blocking. Blocking and sanding, sanding and blocking the car. Trying to get it ready, prime. Sanding and blocking the car. Uh-huh.
So you don't want to spray out that way because you'll get overspray all over it. You want to spray into it. Real light coat. You see I'm not going that far past where I sanded. Just barely. That's the first coat, and you can see that I did not get overspray past where I'm spraying.
That's past where I sanded. Yeah.
And I did not spray past where I sanded. You don't want to do that either. You want it to be able to bite in there. I did use a good amount of hardener because it's cool out here, and I want this to dry pretty fast. But we got some good wind blowing, so that should help. It's basically what you're looking at right there. Looks much better already. I'll stick you right here.
I'm priming a fender on a Porsche Cayenne. I'm getting it ready to paint, and it's gonna look so good, man. I'm priming a fender on a Porsche Cayenne. I'm priming a fender, and it's gonna look so good, man. Priming a fender on a Porsche that I just got. Had peeling paint, but not a lot. Had to sand it and feather it out. Now I'm priming, man. And I'll paint it later on. Priming a fender on a Porsche Cayenne. I've been priming a fender, and it's gonna look so good, man. Priming a fender on a Porsche Cayenne. Priming a fender, and I'm gonna paint it later on again. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just me and my primer gun. Me and my primer gun. Putting my finger on the paper to see if it's ready for the next coat. If my finger don't pull off paint, then it's ready to go. But if paint comes off on my finger, then you can't go. Wait for it to dry some more. Here we go. Priming on a fender and a fender and a primer, and I'm finding something to prime on a fender. Wow, that was tough. Priming on a fender and a fender on a primer, and I'm finding something to prime on a fender. Checking out the primer to see if it looks good. I hope I didn't run the primer. Please don't run the primer, cause if you run the primer, you probably gotta block out the run and prime it again, just to get the run out that you put in. So don't run the primer, man. I'm blocking the primer later on when the primer dries. And then I'm gonna get it ready to paint, guys. You're gonna see it in this video. This whole video is gonna show you from start to finish. Running out of lyrics, for sure. Priming offender. This one's going out to this Porsche fender. I love this Porsche fender. This one's dedicated to you. I've been trying to get you back to right, baby. I know you was looking rough, and you was peeling, and you was feeling down, and you wasn't looking 100%. But I just want you to know, I'm bringing you back.
Ow. That washing solvent is hot. Woo! Taking just a little bit of that and I'm wiping around just in case there's any overspray. I don't have to sand it off that way. Holy crap, that's hot. I mean, it burns. Thinner ain't got nothing on that. And she's tacking off good now. Let's do one more coat just for the hell of it. That's it. All right, we just cleaned our gun out and we're gonna set it up there on the branch. Something I didn't show you guys. I'm not just spraying out of a damn compressor without a dryer system on it. Now this ain't a full dryer system, but I've got an oil separator, a water separator, and I have desiccant bead filters in here. So yeah, it ain't like I'm trying to make this paint bubble up later on down the road or have water spots in it. Don't do that. If you're painting a car, don't just hook it up to an air line from a compressor. You must have oil separator, water separator, and a dryer system of some sort. Even if it's just desiccant beads. Just anybody that says any different, well, they just don't care. That's all there is to that. So please use regulators, desiccant bead filters, oil and water separators, because if you look down in there, you'll see there's some gunk. I don't know if you can see it, but there's water and there's gunk and there's oil in there. You don't want that on your fender. So we have primed it, and this will be ready to paint now. You can see we didn't make a big mess, and we didn't spray even down here. Wherever you don't put primer everywhere. You just put it where you need it. And this primer dries shiny, and that allows you to look down it, see if you see any flaws in that. And this stuff looks really good. This is a Sherwin-Williams primer. I used to use DuPont, and I switched to Sherwin-Williams years ago when I was painting in body shops. It seems to do better. It seems to last longer. It definitely matches easier. And we'll close the hood on this thing. You can see it's not going to be too bad. Now I really hope we can get a close match on this paint, because I'm not blending the panels. I'm not painting this. I'm not blending into the door. I'm going to blend here. I'm going to blend around here just because I can. And I'm really hoping the angle that this Porsche has will you know, hide the paint match problem if there is one. We'll get to that road when it comes. We're fixing to do a bumper repair today. It's a different day from the priming video, but we're putting it all into one. We got this crack here that split open when it got hit right here. The force went through. It didn't have nowhere to go, so it just split the end of it right there. And we have the initial hit marks. You can see the with a paint crack right through here. We got to sand that out. You can see right through here we have to sand, and there's some more stress cracks right there. So we're gonna do a blend and burn it in right through here where nobody can tell. Alright, we got some 80 grit. We're gonna come through here and relieve. You see how it's wanting to poke out? It's stressed. We're gonna relieve the stress off of it, and we're gonna make a little groove going through here with this sandpaper. You can do it with a grinder too, but it's just much more aggressive that way.
On a side note, guys, the trail system here in Maine is opening up this weekend, and there's going to be a ton of content involving side-by-sides and four-wheelers and mud, rock crawling, all kind. We have extreme trails here, so should be some good content.
There we go. These damn gnats. I hate them. Now we're going to take this 80 grit on this DA and use the edge to dig around. Alright, now we're ready to mix up some plastic repair filler and put it on. I use this. I've used it many times before. I've never had issues with it. As you can see, you can get it in different formations: semi-rigid, rigid, or flexible. I'm doing flexible. I really could have done semi-rigid to rigid, but I just like doing flexible. I put flex additive in my paint when I'm painting stuff like this too. This mixes up one part into each other like a JB Weld. That's what it looks like when you just trying to feather this out the best I can with this spreader, because you don't want to do sanding. I mean, you gotta sand, there's no other way around it, but if you can do a good job spreading this stuff out and getting it pretty much off there, before you sand, that's just the less work you have to do. Now, honestly, that's not bad. I have acetone here, but you can use thinner, whatever wash solvent you have. And I'm gonna hurry up and get this mess off real quick that I've made. A lot of people don't do this, but this saves you time. And they can't say it won't. You're not supposed to put any filler on something you hadn't sanded anyway. You just want it right around the area that you have been working on. We're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna come back in a minute and sand this down with some 180. But I gotta get away from these gnats. Oh my God. This is a super fine Type S. Mimics like 1000 grit, 800. And you wanna go around and just scuff up the area. You know, make sure there's no shine left at all. You could clear coat over these scratches and they won't show up. I wouldn't suggest it, but that's what they say anyway. Very important to sand your edges. I can't tell you how important that is. So many painters don't get in there like that and sand their edge, and it starts peeling all the way through here. You have to sand your edges. Do that before you sand anything else, so you don't forget. That's how I was taught to do it. And that's exactly why you see me getting them first. I'm making sure that I get, and if you don't scuff up here, but if you do by accident, just you'll be able to buff it out. If you can't avoid it, tape it up. Tape it up, don't mess it up. I want to scuff up here pretty good because I remembered I had some 180 scratches in here, so I'm going to sand this extra. I'll make sure I get all those out of there. If that doesn't work, go back and get some 220, 320, sand over it a little bit.
Masking up the car, getting it ready to prime. When I get done, it's gonna look so fine. Masking up the car, getting ready to prime. When I get done, it's gonna look so fine. Yeah.
Well, I've just about had it with this camera shutting down every 5 minutes saying it's over hot. If it overheats here in Maine, in May, I don't know what to tell you. It's not a good camera. Anyway. It's prime. I'll turn it. I'll let you guys see the end here in a minute. All right, we got it primed up. I'm gonna unmask it. Do not use the same tape that you primed with to paint. Do not do it. Good evening. Welcome to the rest of this video, which is just a continuation of what you just saw a second ago. But it's been a day or so for me. Today we will sand the Porsche and get it ready for paint. I'm sanding the primer with P400 wet dry. P grit means it's a little more aggressive. Tends to last longer. We're gonna come up here and sand this primer. Sand all this to 400. We're gonna drop down to 600 through here. And then we're gonna do a Scotch-Brite all through here as well, a Scotch-Brite. Then we've got to come down and grab all these faded out moldings. So we're gonna grab 600. We're gonna sand all these moldings with 600. We're gonna come back and grab 400 because these are pretty rough. We're gonna sand all these lines out, and then we're gonna gray scuff all these handles, every one of them. We're doing all the moldings on both sides, door handles on both sides. We have this bumper to sand out. And then we'll do a little 600. I'd prefer 800, but they did not have it. Even 1,000 would be good. So I'm just probably gonna gray scuff through here, and I'm not gonna sand at all. I'm really hoping this paint matches good, because you're not supposed to butt panel paint, but you can get away with it sometimes. And with the curves this Porsche has, I'm really thinking I might be able to get away with it. But furthermore, I'm blending the paint. In other words, I'm going to fade the paint into this original paint, so you don't see a difference there and there. There won't be any of the new paint. I am going to clear coat the entire fender. Should match pretty good. I polished out these headlights with a kit, and I mean, look, they're horrible. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to sand these with 600. And then when I get done with that, I will probably just clear coat these things instead of polish them out again. I'll clear coat the headlights while I'm clear coating everything else. It's an old painter's trick. I've been doing it for years. It lasts a good 8 years before the paint starts really fading or cracking. And at that point, you just need to get new ones, if the car is even still around. Anyway, raising the hood, because you don't want to sand the hood at all. And if you can get it out of the way, why wouldn't you? That's the whole point to that. I'm also going to be wet sanding with a hose. That does two things. That cleans the substrate, and it keeps the sandpaper from clogging up. If you clog up your sandpaper, it'll cause bumps to form in the sandpaper where the material's clogged up, and then those bumps will carry striations through the substrate, causing sand scratch swells. And you don't want that. You don't want that. You just don't want that. Same thing over here. You can see the moldings look like doggy crap, and these look like puppy poop. So, all right, now that I've explained everything, let me get this set up for you guys. Couple things to know when you're wet sanding. Cut the end off of your hose. If you don't want to, then just put tape all over it, because you don't want that metal scratching up your paint. Number two, wear some floppers, because if you ain't wearing them flip-flops, them things right there, You're gonna say, oh, I won't get my feet wet, and you will, and you'll have to wear wet feet all day. And nobody likes that. So bring you a pair of flip-flops, take off your good stuff, put your floppers on, and get to wet sanding. I try to feather out my edges first. Just what I do. And then once I know I got them feathered out, I kind of work my way through the middle of it. Now, if you're using a block like I am, it's because you want to level out the surface. You remember a few minutes ago we had sanded this down, and we had left a ring in there where we feathered it out. And so when we primed it, we built it up, but that didn't make the ring go away. What made the ring go away was blocking it. Blocking it leveled it out and made that valley the same level as this. So now what we're doing is we're making this all level. We don't want any digs in here. And that's basically what we're doing. After you know you've got it blocked good, you go back and hand sand it to get block marks out. And you know, those are little bitty block lines that are sand lines because of the block's edges, and you want to hand sand it to get those out. You want to go ahead and sand your edges while you're hand sanding. Right here, all down this fender edge by the hood, around the headlight, where the primer is. Try not to sand through the bare metal. It can't be helped sometimes, but just try to avoid it. You want as little bare metal showing as possible. Now we're gonna wipe off the residue. We're not gonna finish sanding. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go sand something else. We're gonna let this dry, and then we can look at the primer and see if we've got it sandy good. And I'll bring you in on a close-up when we do this. And now I'm putting this block down. I don't need it for the moldings. I don't need it for the handles. I'm just gonna let y'all watch me sand for a while. Now I'm going to the other side. Hey, welcome back. We're fixing to paint the Porsche. We got the headlights masked off for clear coating. This is all masked off. Everything's sanded. We're ready to go, guys. So let's get to painting. on the third, fourth coat. When do I have it covered? Well, when you can't see through the masking tape anymore. And then when you can't see through it, you put another 2 coats on it just to be damn sure. And then when you're done with that, throw another coat on it just to make sure. And that's when you know when it's covered. I'll explain this pocket. I have this here not touching anything because I don't want to make a line with the paint color, and I'm spraying that way. The reason I'm doing that is I don't want any paint to go in here into my blend area. When I go to do clear coat, when I buff it out, if you get base coat in there, it won't work. You'll see the line. So you can't have any base coat in there. It's all looking pretty good. I'd say we got 3 more coats to go, and then I gotta go get another damn battery for this damn GoPro. I swear to God, I'm about done with these things. Alright guys, I'll get back to you after I put the last 2 coats of base on, and we'll come back and do a clear coat. Alright, we've got it. We've got our base coat done. We're gonna let this dry for about 15-20 minutes. Or go take me a break real quick. Let this dry really well so I can tack it off, and I'm gonna go get the clear coat, and we're gonna get ready to get down on it. Now I masked this off when I base coated it, but when I go to clear, this is coming off because I'm clearing this headlight. A lot of people buff these headlights out, and there's a lot of kits out there, and as you saw, I tried a kit. I buffed it out. I know how to buff. I've been buffing my whole life, and well, it didn't last about a week before it got dull again. So we're clear coating the headlights. Everything looks really nice and covered. Double check my tape before I clear coat. Seems like it's gonna match well too. Take off my little hood. Now that's where I'm blending out to here. That's gonna look good. Alright, this side was easy. It's just moldings and handles. The other side had all kind of stuff going on. Of course, I got this other headlight ready for clear coat. You're not going to believe the difference in these headlights when I clear them. It's going to be phenomenal. Alright guys, I'll be back in a minute with the fresh. Alright, mixing up paint. Moving on to the clear coat. I'm using Finish 1 spot panel clear. It says it's the ultimate, but I'm not really sure about that. I just know it's made for small panels so it dries fast and so you can buff it. This is gonna mix 4-to-1 usually here. I guess I need to break my phone out. Finish 1 ultimate spot panel clear coat mix ratio. Four to 1. That means 4 parts clear, 1 part hardener. You used to thin clear coat out with with a reducer, but they don't really do that anymore. They've made clear coats a lot more high solids now. I have a part stick. Right on the money. That's 4 parts. A part stick shows you parts. I'll have to show it to you in a minute. There's a 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1. It's always, the first number is always your main material. The second number is reducer or hardener. And if you have a third number, then that's the hardener. Then your second number is going to be your reducer. Okay, so we've just mixed a 4-to-1 mixture. Gonna go get one more strainer. I used the strainer when I mixed it, and when you stir up from the bottom, so your material on the bottom mixes with the top. At least that's how I was taught. Don't forget to put on your paint mask so you don't die. Your first coat you do not put on heavy, and the last thing you want to do is make a run. You want to make a tack coat. That's what we're doing. Let the compressor build up. Alright guys, I gotta put this down after this coat. I gotta quit playing around. Okay guys, I'll get back to you when I'm done. Hard for me to do this and film. Alright guys, sorry, I wish I had a cameraman. I would have let y'all stay with me. Anyway, that's what a good clear coated headlight looks like. Like brand new basically. I peeled back the masking paper around the clear coat because it was getting saturated. If it bleeds through, it'll stick to the paint. You don't want to do that. Everything looks really nice. Look at these handles. Man, looks really good. The burn in and the back bumper turned out really good. You can't even tell where I started or stopped. I really like that clear coat. It is already tacked up. That's crazy, right? I mean, as fast as I could spray it, it was drying. Turned out really good. Really think that paint's gonna work out. And I love the clear coated headlights. You can't beat that. You can't buff it and make it look that nice. That's an old painter's trick. Been doing that since I was painting. I guess, I don't even know how long I've been painting. How old am I? I'm almost 50. Oh Lord, I've been painting 30 years. Whew. That's a long time. All right. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna unmask it, and then we're gonna take a look at it out in the sunshine. That's the fun part. What's up, guys? It's been a long day. I wish I had somebody to film. I wish I had more money to pay somebody who could film. I wish I had a better camera. I wish a lot of things, but I wish y'all would subscribe and like and comment. That would really help. My last video on prepping this thing and fixing the A-arm, stuff like that, yeah, they got 3 views. I'm not doing something right. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep doing that. Anyway, we got the moldings painted, the handles are painted, man, and the color really, it looks really good. I've used Sherwin-Williams, which is Martin Senior. I've used their paint, their automotive paint, for a long time. I used to use DuPont, and I just shied away. That had a lot of color match issues with it, and I never really had color match issues with the old Shermanator. You can see that, you know, what used to be a tear is gone, and we don't have any more cracks. No more cracks. We're not. Handles look good. Moldings look great. Oh, look at this. Yikes. It's best to deal with that now. And if I would have forgot it, that might have peeled on me. Really being a booger. I mean, we're just gonna leave that paint, that tape residue there until tomorrow. Wash it. I gotta sand it and buff it. It turned out pretty clean. It's a little on the dry side, but you know, I really think I laid it down as thick as I could, and I really think that's that clear coat. It just, that spot panel, it dries so fast, and on days like that, that's great. I mean, look at the match on that. And the headlights look, man, they look so good, guys. Look at that. I can't tell the difference. Looks just the same over here. I'm really satisfied with that. If y'all like this video, and you won't, and only 3 will watch it. If the 3 of you like this video, will you please do something? I don't know, or you've already liked and subscribed probably. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope y'all have a great day. Until next time.